Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your source material and really uncover the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight. Today, we're plunging into something truly intense, profoundly emotional, actually. It's the lyrics from the 2005 self-titled album by the band Chimaira. And look, this isn't just, a collection of songs you listen to. It's a raw, unflinching exploration of the human psyche. We're talking pain, betrayal, vengeance, and just this deep, visceral sense of loss. Our mission today is to unpack these lyrics, trace those emotional arcs, and really try to grasp the powerful, often unsettling messages woven into each track.
Yeah, it's quite striking how these lyrics open a window into, well, the extremes of human experience, isn't it? From individual despair right through to collective defiance, from those quiet internal struggles to these explosive external conflicts. We'll really see how this album paints a vivid, often dark picture of navigating inner and outer turmoil.
So let's get into it. Let's unpack this. Get ready to explore some truly compelling and, yeah, at times pretty unsettling narratives. Okay, so we begin with this exploration of profound personal pain and that really agonizing sense of being fundamentally misunderstood. Where do we start our journey into that feeling?
We really have to start with Nothing Remains. That song, it just immediately sets a tone of despair and a kind of grim resignation. The lyrics, like, I shout these words to those who never listened and no one heard my true feelings, they paint such a vivid picture of deep isolation. It's more than just loneliness. It's the pain of being unheard, of longing to be accepted, but, well, never finding it.
Right, and then that phrase, too late to change my mind, nothing remains, I've silenced the pain, that suggests something really definitive, almost irreversible. It's not just resignation, like you said, but a chosen silence after years of feeling unseen. What kind of internal landscape does that then lead us to inside the horror?
Well, inside the horror really intensifies that internal torment. It forces a confrontation with these psychological burdens. It talks about a blank expression, sheer stagnation, and that really haunting admission that the best years of this life felt wasted protecting a secret. It's like an internal prison, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's like a spotlight just shining right on the mind's darkest corners. The song then lists these specific torments: insecurities fed on like a rat, depression, true fears of dependency, affliction. And that powerful image, scars on such a fragile little body, with the repeated plea to take a look inside the horror, even mentioning blood mixed with tears. Wow. It highlights this battle against monsters trapped within the mind. So does the album suggest these monsters are purely internal, or are they maybe a manifestation of external pressures that have kind of warped the self?
That's the crucial distinction. While the lyrics vividly portray an internal struggle, the intensity suggests that these monsters aren't just abstract fears. They feel almost like external forces, consequences of the secrets and the insecurity being fed on. It's almost as if the internal pain has become so overwhelming it's taken on a life of its own, like an entity within. The album portrays it as this consuming, almost parasitic force.
Okay, so after exploring that really intense internal suffering, the album doesn't just like wallow there, does it? It moves into characters desperate for escape. But often that yearning leads to this terrifying loss of control. How does Salvation introduce this next phase?
Salvation presents a really desperate break from misery. It's fueled by endless nights filled with misery, being sick of familiar patterns and this feeling of inability to wash away my scars. The repeated declaration, this is a night of salvation and life has been left behind me, I will not cower away. That isn't a gentle turning point. No, it's a pivotal, almost violent decision,
Right.
supercharged by adrenaline stronger than ever. It's like a desperate lunge for freedom.
A desperate lunge for sure, but what's so striking is the stark, chilling contrast that immediately emerges with Comatose. This song shifts perspective entirely. It takes on the voice of this insidious force claiming, I am the god you loved, I am the addiction, and chillingly, I am the nemesis. This isn't salvation at all, is it?
Not even close. What's profoundly unsettling here is the complete subjugation. Phrases like, I control you, I enslave you, I destroy you, and I leave you comatose. Just strip away all agency. The entity in the song finds the smell of fear is so enticing and loves to tear you apart, wrapping these chains so tight. It suggests that the yearning for salvation can be met not with release, but with complete destructive control. The album here seems to explore the terrifying idea that sometimes the very thing you seek for release can become the ultimate enslaver, whether that's an internal demon you feed or some external manipulator.
Okay, so from those internal battles and the terrifying loss of control, the album shifts gears pretty dramatically. Now we dive into stories of external conflict. specifically betrayal and that fierce, burning desire for retribution. Left for Dead really opens that door, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Left for Dead is a powerful, almost heartbreaking condemnation of betrayal, specifically driven by greed. The lyrics, "Greed has caused you to become a monster." And the really poignant, "You said you loved him, then you put him away till death do us part," means nothing to you. They paint such a vivid picture of familial betrayal, maybe suggesting an elderly father was literally thrown away, left for dead for money. The profound anger and moral judgment from those left behind who feel this sadness has overwhelmed us, it's just palpable. The album is essentially saying some acts are so unforgivable they create a kind of hell on earth for the betrayer.
And that profound sense of betrayal and injustice, it leads directly into the boiling rage we find in Everything You Love.
Mm.
This track feels like pure, unadulterated vengeance. Lines like, "I'm only here to inflict pain and I will never forgive the ones who pushed me away," are just brutal. It feels less like just a reaction and more like a chosen path, you know?
Precisely. The speaker in Everything You Love explicitly states, "I am here to expose you," and promises to end everything you love. This isn't just a threat, it's a terrifying declaration of power from someone who feels utterly deeply wronged. Their rage has become their driving force. And this theme of retribution isn't just a one-off, it actually escalates even further in Pray for All.
Mm-hmm.
A manipulative figure is confronted with, "Who do you think you are, manipulator?" and the chilling threat, "I will make you pay for all the lives you've ruined and pray you're able to breathe while I strangle you."
Mm.
The album portrays vengeance here as this complete consuming mission, where the betrayer's fatal flaw was ever crossing paths with the speaker. It's dark.
As our deep dive continues, we see this fascinating, although, yeah, very dark transformation. Some of that intense pain and betrayal seems to coalesce into a darker, more defiant identity. It's almost like a twisted form of self-empowerment. How to save ourselves illustrate this shift.
Right, Save Ourselves, when we revisit it with this context, it takes on a new, much more defiant meaning.
Hmm.
It speaks of making negative energy power, and the collective, "We're stronger, we prey on the weak and conquer."
Hmm.
The sentiment isn't just individual suffering anymore, it's just to group empowerment, explicitly stating no longer care for those who try to condemn and oppose.
Hmm.
This perspective suggests a defiant rejection of perceived weakness and a strategic embrace of strength, almost a survival tactic. The album seems to argue that in a harsh world, the only real danger is to be weak-minded with insecurities. It's a very cynical view of survival.
That is a stark worldview. And then there's Bloodlust, which truly feels like the culmination of this dark transformation. The speaker makes a truly shocking declaration. "I never wanted this world to be better. I always wanted this world to suffer." I mean, what does that tell us about where this journey has led them?
Well, it reveals a self-definition that's been forged through destructive impulses. The speaker states, "My flesh, my blood, all my animosity, give me strength and define me." It's a chilling inversion of finding purpose, isn't it? They embrace a bloodlust as all I trust, declaring no more boundaries to cross and being indifferent to the pain I've caused. The album here suggests that when pain becomes utterly overwhelming, it can actually warp into a desire to inflict suffering on the world. It becomes a core part of one's identity. This figure sees themselves as a demon that cannot be hushed, having spent a life truly spent alone. It's an incredibly bleak statement on the end result of unchecked suffering.
And so, we conclude our deep dive with a truly poignant and honestly heartbreaking narrative of profound loss. What specific story unfolds in Lazarus?
Lazarus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stands out as this raw, incredibly specific account of suicide. The lyrics give precise, haunting details. 11:05, 94, 6:30 morning, and later 11:08, 94, 6:30 evening. It paints this vivid, almost photographic picture of the immediate aftermath, pulling you right into that moment. And the repeated phrase, "Lazarus ended his life, ungodly sacrifice, no reason why," just hammers home the profound, unbearable lack of understanding and closure for those left behind.
The pain in this song is just palpable, isn't it? Those descriptions. Woke up panicked, sweating with a mouthful of vomit, and the tears of so many friends. It's incredibly visceral. What aspect of loss does the album choose to highlight here, beyond just the event itself?
It intensely focuses on the devastating void left by missed opportunities for closure. You hear it again and again. Never had an explanation, never had a chance to watch Lazarus rise, never had a chance to thank him, and most poignantly, never had a chance to say goodbye. What's so impactful here is how Chimaira uses these precise details and repetitions to really emphasize the enduring, crushing weight of those unanswered questions. It serves as this stark reminder within the album's overarching themes that the ultimate consequence of overwhelming internal struggles and despair isn't just the suffering itself, but the often inexplicable and permanent void it leaves for those who loved the person lost. It's the final, and perhaps the most tragic emotional arc in the whole album. So after journeying through these incredibly intense lyrics, what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've really moved through the full spectrum of human emotion, haven't we? From the depths of isolation and internal horror, right through to the fires of vengeance and that cold embrace of destruction. We have. We've seen how profound pain can either ignite this desperate search for salvation or, conversely, lead to a complete surrender to destructive forces. This deep dive into Chimaira's album truly reveals the raw complexities of human suffering, the devastating impact of betrayal, and, yeah, the profound, often unanswered questions surrounding loss.
It's a powerful reminder, I think, that even in the darkest, most aggressive musical expressions, there's often a reflection of universal struggles. This material really makes you consider, how do you navigate those intense emotions, betrayal, anger, profound loss, when it feels like nothing seems to remain?
Yeah, after exploring these intense narratives, what stands out to you? Maybe you'll find yourself listening to music, perhaps even this kind of music, with new ears, seeking out those deeper emotional currents and complex stories that might be hiding beneath the surface.
Until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep getting well informed.